Hello everyone, I'm Nicole and I'm 18 years old. Tell me, do you have any special features in your appearance? Something you're embarrassed about or your parents? Watch this video to the end and learn how to get iron hands and how to learn to live with them. I made the doctors and attendants' jaws drop at my birth. My right forearm was missing. I don't know exactly why, but in any case, I haven't had a right hand all my life. I was wildly shy about it and begged my parents to give me a prosthesis so that I was like other normal children. And what did I hear in response? Daughter, no, we don't have the money for this, so you can't. My mother tried to convince me that this is normal, that you can adapt to everything. Of course, she can adapt because she doesn't not have a hand. I was bullied at school. And not girls, they were great. But the guys constantly teased me from a distance and called me ugly. Several times I got into fights and even managed to kick someone in the neck. Then my parents would lecture me and tell me that this was proof that I didn't need a prosthesis. Like, they will only tease me more, and in a fight it will break and Right, there's no money to change it. I know what was behind it. You're already weird. Your hands will attract attention. Why do you need a prosthesis if we still have to feed you with the spoon for the rest of our lives? Well, have your dreams ever come true in the most unexpected way? Once, I was hit by a car. I don't remember how it happened. I think I was crossing the road to green and then I woke up in the hospital and my mother was sitting next to me, crying. And my father was crying too. And instead of my hand, I had a stump wrapped in a bandage. The doctor explained everything to me. It turned out that the car did not just collide with me. It literally ran over my arm, and it was impossible to restore it. Can you imagine how absurd this is? The first thing I thought was, oh, my last hand! But, well, now you're not going to get away with it. I pleaded with my mother, made responsible arguments to my father. I said that artificial hands would improve their lives as well as mine, and that it was better at least with artificial hands than without them at all. They couldn't argue with me now. My mother asked me in a quavering voice how much it would cost. My father gasped when he saw the bill, but they were still under the influence of my sad hospital appearance and quickly processed everything. The installation took a long time. I took even longer to get used to them. But there came a time when I could write my own name by hand, and I was almost mad with joy. I was told not to load my hands so that the adaptation of the prosthesis would be more successful, but I couldn't stop running and touching everything. I have hands! Real, my own! Yay! Has it ever happened to you that your relatives did not understand your joys and sorrows? My parents, for some reason, did not share my joy. My father would praise me sourly, and my mother would turn away and almost start crying. I didn't know what was wrong with them. Were they so afraid of my hands? Would they sacrifice my hands for their own comfort? What did I need to do to make my parents love me the way I had become? Resentments accumulated for a long time, and they had to find a way out, the normal way out. For example, I went swimming at school. I had to get used to a new sport and initially swim in the paddling pool, but then I started to achieve small success. I also went to therapy sessions to develop my hands, and that's where I met Charlie. Charlie had had surgery on his leg and was also getting used to the prosthesis. I shared my experience with him. We started communicating with each other, and later we realized that we liked each other. And parents, they didn't understand me at all. Dad treated me like a little girl. He tried to feed me with his spoon, didn't trust me even to carry a cup to my room, as if I had 0 hands instead of 2 iron ones. My mother became apathetic. I thought, okay, you don't want to believe in me? I'll make you. The swimming was going well, and if I could get into the competition, then would they drop the act? I really started to train more. And yes, I already achieved great results in 2 months. I was invited to to the Paralympic youth competitions. The very first of them was held on a brand new pool. I searched the crowd for the eyes of my friends and family. Charlie and his mom came, and Dad came. Only my mother wasn't there. It hit me in the gut. My vision blurred and my legs gave way, and I almost fell. I got a good track and was able to set myself up to win, but I only had one thought in my head. She doesn't want to see me? Even now? Even when I go for a medal? I didn't lose, although I was in the most depressed mood. We all went to the cafe together, but when we were alone with Charlie, he told me something that startled me and almost killed me on the spot. My mom called him and told him to stop messing with my head. He didn't want to tell me about it before the competition, so as not to spoil the mood. But since my mom just didn't show up, what would you do if you found out that your mother had forbidden the boy to see you? Would you get angry? Start yelling? Would you try to talk peacefully? I almost immediately went home and made a huge fuss. My mother also started yelling at me, and in a fit of anger, she blurted out, "You'll never be normal. Don't lie to yourself." I said, "All right," and started packing. It only took me 15 minutes to get ready, and then I just went out with my bags, and I took the ground transport to Charlie's. He was terrified when he saw me. He said I was putting too much weight on my hands and helped me carry things to their house. My mom and dad started calling me. Eventually, I picked up the phone and told them everything. I threatened to sue for my emancipation if they kept calling me, and I didn't answer the phone again. Until the end of the school year. I almost gave up on the exams, but I still passed them and even got a diploma. After the ceremony, the kids and I decided to have fun, have a few drinks, and I was so relaxed that I answered the phone without looking. It was Dad. He said just a few words to me. "Your mother has cancer." I didn't believe it at first. It was very clever to make me come back for fear that my mother would be ill. Well, it worked out. I rushed home and immediately realized this was not blackmail, but a real disease. The tumor was launched to such a stage that the doctor decided that the leg would have to be removed, and quite urgently. You should have seen my mother at that moment. She laid there all night looking at the ceiling, and then she got hysterical. Mom broke the service, crying and shouting that now she was a nobody, a pathetic, helpless invalid, and now she would never have a normal full life. I was angry. I'm not a fool, and I knew that she was talking about me too. I sharply grabbed her by the shoulders, slapped her, you know how great it turns out with Cyberhand, and growled, "Okay, calm down." My mother was shocked enough to stop talking, and I spoke. I was all talked out. I told her I'd just fucking graduated from high school, that I had a class in swimming and a cool guy who loved me, lots of friends, my first job that I got thanks to my prosthetics. I didn't have a damn problem with my prosthetics. All my problems were because of my mother. Here, I admit, it was ugly, but it sobered my mother like a second slap in the face. She looked down at her leg again. She said she didn't know how to live like this. She'd been normal all her life. I replied that the main thing was just to live. My mother didn't believe me, but my words helped her. Her leg was actually removed, and she was sobbing, holding my dad and me by the hand. But then we raised money and paid for her to have a prosthesis installed. My mother was actually starting to learn to walk again. She complained to me every night on the phone that she couldn't look at her reflection without being disgusted. I calmed her down and told her that she was very beautiful. And Dad told her too. Recently, my mother went out for the first time in shorts, and I was happy with her little victory. By the way, where did she go in her shorts? To watch my competition, of course. It's amazing how much garbage people have in their heads, and how it can ruin their lives and the lives of their loved ones. It's amazing how things change if you help a person clean up a little. My mother and I were able to overcome our prejudices. Look at your relatives too. Maybe mutual understanding is just around the corner? Did you like the video? put a like so that YouTube will show it to your friends. And by the way, did you remember to subscribe to our channel and send us your new freaky stories?